Hey, this is Dizzy Reed from Guns N' Roses, and you're watching GNR Central. Yeah!
Hey everybody, what's going on, and welcome to GNR Central. And today I want to talk about something that one of our fans sent us, and I posted this already on gnrcentral.com. So one of our awesome fans from Norway, I hope I'm saying his name right, it's spelled K-J-E-L-L, so I know that's Kjell. Now he's the second fan from Norway to send me something really cool. So these are some photos from 1994, 1995, when Dizzy Reed was in a band called Merchants of Venus. Now, this is a band I'm sure a lot of you guys aren't familiar with. I myself wasn't even familiar with it up until the point he sent me the photos. So he provided some backstory on the band, and apparently it's still around today. So he sent me an email saying, I read your post on the Oslo gig in 1993. So the other fan sent me a couple months ago a really cool newspaper clipping from one of the local newspapers in Oslo, Norway, when Guns N' Roses played their gig in 1993. It had some photos that I'd never seen and probably never been online until now. So it's up on my website if you guys want to go check it out. So he said, I have some additional information. I was working in Norway's third largest newspaper as a music culture journalist at the time. During my stay, Dizzy, together with his friend Charles Norman, went to Endless Sound Studio, the studio of Norwegian underground band Sister Rain, to jam. They hit it off and decided to try to work more together on a project and would eventually be called Merchants of Venus. Later in 1993 or 94, Aslak Nygren and Rune Anasen of Sister Rain went to record an album in Los Angeles with Charles Norman, Dizzy, and contributions from Guns N' Roses drummer at the time, Matt Sorum. The master tape, however, was destroyed during the 94 earthquake, so they re-recorded the album in Oslo again with Dizzy, but not Matt Sorum. The album was called Wish Across the Land. To promote the album, the Merchants of Venus played a one-off gig in Club Hulen in Bergen, Norway, with Dizzy on keyboards. I remember him doing a version of the 60s hit Downtown during the gig. I did a 2-page article on the event. So he also gave some more context to the train station clips. He said, found a couple more pics from February 95, Charles Norman and Dizzy arriving at Bergen train station. And he also said some of the other couple guys they played with, he included a photo of them live at the gig. Now, if you guys go look up this band's name, they actually still have a website, and I guess they still exist. Of course, they've had lineup changes. So the website provides some more context in terms of how the band started. So they said in 1993, American guitarist and producer Charles Normal was traveling in Europe with Guns N' Roses. When they arrived in Norway, Charles arranged a meeting with Oslo-based underground band Sister Rain. There was an immediate kinship between the two bands, and the next day, members of both bands went into the recording studio and wrote a song together. The result was the genesis of Merchants of Venus, a band formed by Normal, Guns N' Roses keyboardist Dizzy Reed, and Sister Rain members as well. So it says Normal stayed in Oslo while Guns N' Roses continued on their tour and eventually negotiated a contract with Warner Music for a full album release. Recording commenced in Hollywood, California in late 93, but was brought to a sudden halt when the Northridge earthquake destroyed the studio and master tapes on January 17th, 1994. That's the same earthquake that destroyed Slash's house. I think it might have been the Walnut House back in 94. So Warner flew the band back to the safer environs of Oslo, where the entire album was rebuilt from the ground up. The move forced a different approach to recording, with several band member changes necessary by the geographical distance to California. The California musicians slated to contribute amongst them include Dizzy Reed, Slash, and Black Francis of the Pixies, who were replaced by Oslo locals including Ivar Eidem, Lars Pedersen, and legendary Norwegian rock icon Joachim Nielsen. So a brief journey to the studio in Luxor, Egypt, saw the completion of the recordings. So the result was Wish Across the Land, which here's the album cover for the album. So critics gave it glowing reviews and the audiences responded enthusiastically as well. And then midway through the national tour, Charles Normal abruptly flew back to Los Angeles for family reasons. The plan was to reconvene and resume touring at a later date, but the interim bassist died of a heroin overdose, and then the Merchants were no more. So another guest band member also followed suit and also died from a heroin overdose, sadly. So in 2015, Charles Normal went into Oregon recording studio with Aslak Nygren, and basically started recording and writing a new album. It was basically a 2 decades late follow-up to Wish Across the Land. They quickly assembled a new band of inspired musicians and played 2 rehearsal shows in small venues near the studio, and then the Merchants of Venus were back. And supposedly a new album is in the works, but this post I think was dated back in 2015, so I don't know if there's any more information. But Dizzy Reed doesn't appear to be a member anymore, although when you go to their website, they have a question mark next to who the keyboardist is. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. I think that was a story that a lot of fans haven't heard before, including myself. So I really want to thank our subscriber for sending us that information. I love hearing stories just like this. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and be sure to hit the like button if you enjoyed that video, and subscribe if you love GNR as much as I do. And go check us out on GNRcentral.com for the latest and greatest Guns N' Roses news. Take care.